Welcome to the show, gearheads. Formula One is back for 2026, and
Back with a bang.
George Russell is at the top of the heap to start. This is Jon Massengale. That was Jonathan Green. Bob Varsha's with us, and Chris is out in Melbourne, and he'll be back with us here in just a few minutes. We were just talking to him, but he's probably getting some interviews for us. And yes, we had a heck of a race to start this race, Jonathan.
None of us, not even the drivers, knew what was going to happen. We really didn't, honestly. And that's what made it so enjoyable, because we were really having to go, what about now? And I mean, there was overtake after overtake. I mean, it was so exciting.
Yeah.
And I think it's only going to get better as they get used to the technology.
Well, there was a couple of things that we got right. Thinking the last few weeks, we say that, right? We knew that Mercedes was probably sandbagging, and they were, and they're fast. We knew that Ferrari had figured out how to start this from the start, this car, and man, did they rock it out from the start. Ferrari just blasted out and passed Russell, and then the next few laps, it was back and forth and back and forth. It was fantastic.
And great stories throughout. Audi, wow. Cadillac finishing.
Yes.
I mean, just awesome. Awesome. And even Aston Martin, a glimmer of light for them. Okay, they were in, they're out, they're in, they're out. But they got to the Grand Prix, which, on Friday didn't look that way.
How many times did Alonso retire in this race? At least twice.
Don't say that word. He's never going to retire.
Yeah, he can't retire. Bob Varsha, how are you, buddy? What did you think of the race?
I really liked the first half. I agree with everything you said about it. I thought the start was the most exciting part of the whole thing. I mean, the Ferraris were shot from a gun. I mean, the way they took off, particularly Charles Leclerc going from fourth to the lead. And that, gave us great promise for a great race. And we had lots of passing, as Jonathan just said, particularly Leclerc and George Russell, the eventual winner. And then Lewis Hamilton caught up to the two of them and joined the battle. And it was pretty entertaining. Late on, I have to say, it got a little dull, but maybe I'm wrong, because I think I spent most of that part of the race trying to explain super clipping and straight mode to my wife, who had no interest whatsoever.
At midnight on a Saturday night? Not a good choice.
Yeah,
it's such a waste of time. It's very childish.
Yeah,
really annoying.
Yeah, Max is on that one.
Max is that was live from the locker room just then.
Oh God.
Max
is gonna be talking to himself.
Man, there are so many fun stories that we get to talk about tonight, up and down this. But we'll start at the front, because Mercedes has clearly got this figured out.
Yeah, now they've actually overboarded the sandbags.
Yeah.
No, I mean, we've been saying this since mid last season that I kept bugging Chris, like, well, why do we think Mercedes are going to be that much better? And there's some obvious answers, like, well, in 2014 they got over them the rules, and then you could say, but they've also got 3 other customers, so therefore they spread out the knowledge because they've got more engines being used than anybody else. But the truth is, they're just really good at what they do.
You know what strikes me, though, is that the rumor mill works, because we started hearing rumors about the compression ratio and the power unit months ago.
Yeah.
Like December, maybe November, December. And then but all last year we heard rumors of how Mercedes is just going to be amazing all the way back into last year. So the rumor mill in Formula One, and somebody's having a pint or two after work and spreading the word.
To be honest, that's not that far from the truth, and Chris will attest to that, because they literally do live in a 50-mile square radius of each other, and they do drink in the same pubs, because I've been there and I've seen various members sitting up at the bar, and they do cross-pollinate, and they know each other's families. They have a similar schedule. And so, that isn't far from the truth. But I also want to take, a big compliment to the journalists and the reporters, Chris included, that whose job it is to predict all this stuff, because they were spot on.
Yeah, and not like us before the race. I mean, we kind of got it pretty close, really.
Yeah, I don't even want to look at our predictions.
You went first. You picked Russell, didn't you?
I did. I went Russell, Leclerc, Lando.
Okay, because I picked Antonelli, because you had picked Russell, so I picked Antonelli, Russell, Leclerc,
So I was close.
I actually had the top three, just had them in the wrong order.
Mhm.
So,
Yeah, I had Russell, Antonelli, and Leclerc. How did I do?
yeah.
There you go.
Bob, you picked it?
Don't worry, Bob. Another week coming. It's less than 7 days to another prediction.
Oh, you didn't pick it. Okay.
I was smashing my computer on the desk.
Yes.
Oh, that's right. I forgot. That's right. You were not with us.
You forgot that I wasn't even there at the end of the last show.
Yeah, I said, what was
Thanks
Bob's
a lot.
prediction? Yeah, thanks.
Well, I had to finish your your grid for you, so
Yeah, I had to finish my grid, yes, which was only 100% longer than it should be.
that's all right.
There's just so much to do.
Oh, go ahead, Bob.
I said there's just so much to talk about. First race of the season.
It's amazing. Yeah. I mean, I was about to say, can we get a temperature gauge? Guys, success?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, clearly.
I was dubious at the start. I was worried.
Hey, still 10 laps in, I was laughing. I was thinking about the Chip Ganassi tweet earlier talking about we don't have any super clipping and we don't have any harvesting and all that. And I was thinking this looked like, it was going to be a barnstormer. But hey, think about what happened, though. Had Ferrari decided to try some strategy, I'm not, I call it what they did, no strategy.
Which one of their drivers pointed out when he said, "Don't bring me in at the same time."
Well, had they tried something like switching it up or something, we may have had a race in this. Do you agree with that? I want to get Chris's take. But what do you think?
I do agree with that. They did not play it well, but that's Ferrari's Achilles heel. It has been for many a year, and I think Hamilton was trying to guide them with his new engineer and say, look, there are times where, and I think we're going to see that more this season. There's going to be times where the driver may well interdict and go against actually the team because they like we saw with Russell, right? He tries at turn 2, tries at turn 6, then tries at 9. Doesn't work either way. So in his head, he hasn't got time to talk to everybody about, you know what, I was thinking.
Yeah.
So he's going to do some, and he's trying to fox the guys he's up against, right? So a long transmission between engineer and driver is not going to help the situation because they're all kind of leaning in on what's being said, and we don't know what goes to where. We don't hear all the radio transmissions, but the bottom line is there are guys monitoring that all the time.
Yeah, and what the radio transmission you're talking about was when Hadjar went out with a blown engine or something. We saw smoke and everything on lap 11. And lap 13,
I thought he was on fire.
Yeah, it may have been. And Hamilton came on the radio and said at least one of us should have pitted. And
he was right.
He was right, and he was also pretty. I mean, he's more radio transmissions later. You were talking about where he said, "Do not pit me," and he was very forceful, like. I am your strategist and one of your drivers going, hey, this is how this should work. So,
well, and if you don't know this, but most people do, obviously he's got a new engineer this season. We didn't know who it was going to be, but Adami is no longer. And we could see last year that they really didn't
gel.
Simpatico, as the Italians would call it.
Yeah.
Because they really didn't. They didn't see eye to eye. And Hamilton... that's why I'm interested to see how well Antonelli can do this season because he's got Hamilton's so successful engineer at his disposal.
I'll tell you, if you're a Ferrari fan, and especially a Hamilton fan, you have to be very encouraged.
Yeah,
very encouraged for this season because Hamilton could have won this race had this played out differently.
Hamilton came out with a really interesting... It was interesting on weekend when he was talking in politics and all sorts of stuff, but he came out with a line of, you will not see that guy again. And he was describing himself from last year and how he'd looked himself straight in the mirror and looked at the negativity, which is so not him. But we saw it all through, especially at the end of last season, a completely crestfallen athlete who just didn't have the answers, and he's obviously gone away, looked at it and gone, that guy has to go, otherwise I can't do this job.
Yeah, I remember last year he said I shouldn't even be in the car.
Right.
I shouldn't even be driving.
Yeah. I mean, can you imagine Lindsey Vonn having that attitude standing at the top of the hill? No.
Yeah,
because you wouldn't go.
Yeah, and I thought it was really interesting. I was watching some of the driver interviews after qualifying, maybe even after practice, and it was Lindblad and Hamilton talking, and Hamilton said, "Yeah, this is my 20th season. It's Lindblad's first."
Yeah,
It's just such an amazing juxtaposition, but 20 seasons, just incredible.
It is
Between
incredible.
he
But
and
he
Alonso.
actually said he still feels like an
Yeah.
18-year-old.
And he still looks like it, just about.
Yeah. I tell you what, though, isn't that? I mean, obviously, we can talk about all the results, but to me, Lindblad stands out as though he doesn't have any of the air of a rookie like Antonelli did and Behrman did. I know Behrman's result of 7th in his first debut was pretty darn impressive, but you could tell it was like, wow, that was, he was giddy about it. Lindblad will be going back going, oh, right. And you saw when Verstappen came up behind him, he wasn't giving in.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was holding off the team leader.
Yeah.
Well, you sat down with Lindblad,
Yeah.
and with that interview, I felt like you were interviewing a veteran.
That's what it
He
felt
had
like.
so much confidence. This was a year ago that you had that interview.
Exactly a year ago.
And he was so confident, just amazing. Well, I hear Chris Medland's mic lighting up. Chris, we were just going through this a little bit, talking about how Mercedes had figured it all out, and you got to be happy if you're a Ferrari fan. And I know you caught up with Ayo Komatsu, didn't you?
I did, yeah. I got one of the Ferrari-powered team principals. I haven't got to Fred Vasseur yet. I just joined the back of a massive queue. Before I tee up that Komatsu interview, I'm going to just say, I debate whether you've got to be happy as a Ferrari fan, because I think there's more on the table today.
Yeah.
You've got to be encouraged. You've got to take the positives of the pace and stuff. But, if I get to Fred...
That is the word I use,
keep answering
Chris.
questions long enough.
That I did say that because we did start with talking about the complete failure of strategy.
Yeah, that's the thing. That's where I feel like a lot was lost as I try and dance out the way of the camera. So we'll see what Fred says on that front. But nothing was lost in the sense of the Haas result with P7 for Ollie Behrman, which I think was a really good way to start the season. And, kind of best of the rest, isn't it, that result? So, Ayo, as you can imagine, was pretty happy with that. Ayo Komatsu, firstly, I wanted to show a bit of love to the Haas F1 team. I was meant to try and get you on the grid, and it was chaos. But you carry the American flag on your car. It's a lot of focus on Cadillac and being an American team. But you guys have been the American team in F1 for a decade now. And you've just kicked off the 2026 season with points. How proud are you of that?
I'm very, very, very proud. This regulation change is huge, right? It's a huge challenge for everyone. But you know how small we are. And then last year, we are developing our car, 2025 car, until the last minute. So we had to do this parallel program. But what an amazing job our guys did to put the car out on the track with this level of competitiveness and reliability. Everything has a knock-on effect, right? Fitting the Fiorano shakedown, Barcelona shakedown, Bahrain 1-2. Then because we had the availability of the cars, because we had the reliability, we can work to understand how do we get best out of this PU? How do we understand this aerodynamics? So everything has a knock-on effect. I'm really so proud of this team. When the times are tough, I think we come together so well. Car build this year was horrendous, really, really challenging. But then in the end, we hit every single milestone. But that's just a huge effort. I'm so proud of everyone in the team, and I'm so happy that this P7 result is the reward our guys got.
Well, I must say, once we'd had testing over, the expectations were pretty high on both yourself and Ollie, given the season that he delivered last year and what he could do. You executed on that. How good was his drive today? Because he had to fight his way through, didn't he?
Yeah, and especially not just Ollie as a driver, but all the guys, engineers. Like it's a quite different way of racing. I think it's nice that there's lots of overtaking, so it's really good. But a very, very different way to manage the race. And then we are almost learning every single successful, unsuccessful overtakes or defending, right? So it was a steep learning curve. But again, I'm really pleased that how we stuck together, supported each other, made the right calls, stayed calm. So that's what this team is all about. We are, race team, and then working together as a race team. So and then pit stop call, that was a late call. The boys ran out at the last minute, stayed calm, delivered what they needed to deliver. It's just a whole team operation. It was so good.
Well, you mentioned the racing. I know this is just the first time we've seen it, and specific tracks might be different. But when Ollie was fighting with Arvid Lindblad there was a bit of back and forth going on. Same with Esteban and Pierre Gasly. You don't get a move done and just pull away. What did you make of the racing aspect of it? And also, can I ask, based on yesterday, the qualifying aspect? Because I think a lot of drivers were unhappy yesterday, but seem much happier today.
Even qualifying, to be honest, like I think I said it publicly, outrap, I expected a bit more chaos because the outrap, how you prepare the battery is so, or even turbo, is very, very difficult. So with letting people on attack lap past and then queuing up on sector 3, etc., I actually expected more chaos. But yesterday almost went, like last year. So that was a good surprise. And then I'm really proud how this team operated yesterday in qualifying. It was very clean sessions. And then today, racing, like I said, with different PUMs, the deployment is so different. So you really got to get on top of it very quickly. And depends, if you're fighting against, let's say, Ford power plant or Audi power plant or Mercedes power plant, it's very different, So then you got to get on top of it very, very quickly. But yeah, we did. So it's just again huge team effort. And then Gene, is so happy. He's been in this sport. He came to this sport when the times were not like this. He stuck with us. He's so passionate. He's gonna actually come to the next 2 races because he's so excited. So I'm really happy to make him proud today.
Well, you've certainly made him proud. I'm sure you made a lot of people proud, and you don't get long to enjoy it because we're off to China in a couple of days. Do you think it will be a similar picture there, or is it full of unknowns again?
I think it's going to be very different. Circuit characteristics different, and let's not forget it's a sprint weekend. So, this weekend, Friday, to be honest, we want our best. And then FP3, we tidied things up and got qualifying done. But next weekend, we don't have that luxury, right? We got FP1, 1 hour, probably 3 runs, then sort yourself out for qualifying. So that's going to be a monumental challenge. But yeah, it's same for everyone, so we'll do it.
Well, based on today, we're loving the challenge. So, Ao, well done today, and we'll see you in China.
Thanks very much. See you in China.
This is great. Hey, look at these stats, right? So Haas is the third highest ranking team that had both cars finished because Mercedes won 2, Ferrari 3, 4, and then of course McLaren only had 1 car, Red Bull only had 1 car, then Haas, and so because you had Ollie Behrman finished 7th and Esteban Ocon 11th. If they'd had both in the points, and if you look at the team standing, they are in 5th position.
Right now.
So they are the best of the rest.
Which is incredible because they are the smallest team.
Yeah, by far. Mm-hmm. Chris, I mean, that's not even a question, is it, from both money and staff?
No, not at all. They are definitely, at the bottom of that ladder. And look, it's all relative. They can get close to the budget cap. In fact, I think they might operate at it, but there's other things you can't do, and there's other ways you can't generate profit and invest then in your facilities and things like that. And it's been, it's one of the things I've noticed with Cadillac. I'm loving that story, but you can see the money and the resource that they've put into it is huge. And that's something that it hasn't been the same at Haas, but they've been very efficient. And with the changes of this year, the size of them, that's very, very impressive that they've managed to end last year strongly, start this year strongly, like choose a concept, choose a direction, execute it well. And maybe they got some criticism when they went for a very Ferrari-heavy approach when they joined F1, but it's what it took to establish a team, and now they're a very established team that a number of drivers want to drive for, that are always there fighting for points. I mean, you've got to say, fair play to them for the way they've gone about it.
Yeah, couldn't agree more.
And I'm glad you brought it up that way you did about, look, Cadillac has been, banging the drum of America's team, and Haas, I get it. And I know some people were cranky with Haas early days because they weren't, they didn't have an American driver.
Speaking of cranky, I've just been cranky. I've got to apologise to Rita for being cranky. I pouted because I wanted to speak to Fred Vasseur. And because I pouted, Fred said, come on then, you sad act. So he's taken pity on me. Fred, 3rd and 4th for Ferrari today. Can I ask first, how pleased are you with the way that the team executed in terms of getting the car out here, building something competitive, and taking the fight to Mercedes?
I don't know if we can be happy to be P2 and that the team that for sure the target is to win. But if you have a look on what was the gap with Mercedes yesterday, I think today we did a good job. We reacted pretty well and it went well. Now we have a long list of items where we have to work on and to improve on the car and into the team. And this is important because I think the season will be based on the capacity to everybody to develop, to improve, to bring upgrades quickly. And but it's a good start of the season, and it's good for the team and good for.
Well, I was about to say, you say good start to the season, good for the team. It was good for everybody watching the way that Charles took the fight to George, and then Lewis got in there. It was an amazing opening. Dare I ask, I'm sure you've been asked already, though, do you think you got the strategy right? Was that the quickest way to the end of the race for Ferrari?
We targeted the optimum for us, and I think it was the case. We were a bit unlucky with the second VSC when they closed the pit lane, but it is like it is, and we don't have to keep this in mind. I think that we were also all surprised with the wear of the tires. I think you can do 300 laps with the tires this weekend, and we probably underestimate this. But okay, now let's be focused on China.
Yeah, China coming up. You were strong in China last year. I know it caught you out in terms of the final result, but you won the sprint race there with Lewis. Can you already get a read of what might suit your car compared to others, or is it really, really hard to tell?
Oh, it's a very early stage. It will be a complete different track layout for the energy. Probably much colder condition also. That means that it's very early and we don't have enough data to make a proper forecast and prediction. But let's be focused on ourselves. We have enough to do, enough area to improve, and this will be key.
And finally, you're a true racer. Did you enjoy that today?
Yeah, it would have been a bit better being 1-2 than 3-4, but no, but it was a good one. Good fight on the opening laps. Fair fight between the Mercedes and us. And this was good for the F1, good for the fans. We have to keep in mind that we had a lot of negative and pessimistic comments before the season, but I think it was a very good show today.
I think it was too. Well done today. We'll see you in China.
I agree with Fred on that. Well done. Well, good show. All right, we got to take a break, guys, and let's get this break in, and we'll be right back after these messages. All right, still live on YouTube. Let's see what's happening out there. All right. Kevin Kelly, I am impressed. That was a good
Apologies
race.
for the lead into that interview.
Do what?
Sorry, I was just apologising for the lead into that interview because, I had officer looking after Fred this year turn around and say, no, there's no time, you can't do it. So I just dropped my bottom lip and I dropped it because Fred had started looking. He then laughed and waved me over. So I was kind of apologising to her because I was like, that's kind of undermined us slightly. I didn't expect him to do that. I was just trying to actually make light of her saying no, but Adam was like, who the hell's Rita?
Yeah. Don't worry about it. Don't worry. You got Fred.
Yeah, it was a really good interview too. I thought he was pretty open.
Yeah.
In that.
I mean, he was. We'll talk about this when we come back on the air, but he was talking about being unlucky how the second safety car. Who was it? Bottas who was blocking. Blocking the safety car. I mean the pit lane entrance. Yep. I'm wondering if Kevin Kelly's had enough Jim Beam. He said. Let's see here. Where do we get to the new comments here? Start was really awesome, Kevin says. Ferrari could have made it harder for Mercedes if they had pitted with that first yellow flag. Yep. Maybe. Would have been more fun and would have felt like it. Let's see. Andy P. Great to see the Ferrari decision desk in mid-season form. Agree with you, Kevin.
Yeah.
Should have pitted there.
Yeah.
Nicely played, Andy P. Outlap, Andy P. Sorry, Andy. I got to call you by your right name. How's the podcast going, dude?
Oh, Outlap, Andy P.
It's the Outlap. It's the Outlap podcast.
Gotcha.
That's what he. Kevin Kelly, Hamilton, massive improvement for his new temp engineer.
Yeah.
All right, here we go. We'll talk about that.
I'm George Russell, and you're listening to Speed City.
Welcome back to Speed City, America's voice of Formula One.
Welcome back. We were talking during the break with the YouTube crowd about Ferrari and Fred Vasseur's comments about that he thinks he got the strategy right, got a little bit unlucky. But Bob Varsha, I want to ask you, do you agree with Fred, or do you think that they could have done something different?
well, you can always do something different, but it's not necessarily going to work. Yeah, I mean, they could have pitted under, excuse me, when the caution flag came out. Lewis was politicking for it from his racing seat. Yeah, I think they could have done better. I know you're going to hear all the cries about how Ferrari sucks when it comes to strategy. I don't think so in this case. They saw their opportunities and they chose one of them. But I didn't see a blunder out there. Let's put it that way.
Okay. And this is the first time these 22 cars have raced under these rules in anger. Testing is just not. You can't practice racing. And so, this was always going to be a huge strategy test and a head-scratching one. And, I didn't see – nobody really dropped the ball. Yes, Ferrari could have done something different, but it could have also worked their way.
Right, they could have been in the same position they were.
Yeah, so I think let's not get too heavy.
What were you going to say, Chris?
I was agreeing with Johnny there, but also it was the fact that I think it's hindsight that makes that such an easy call to make. But there was what I was thinking was, being the first race of the season, reliability issues, that perhaps I thought there was every chance there was going to be another interruption, a VSC or a safety car. And if that was to happen, then they were going to get that free stop. And technically, that is what happened, because they couldn't get in the pits when Bottas stopped, because they were already past the pit entry the first time. Then you saw some cars come in, but then they did close the pit entry, so they couldn't come in retrospectively. But it nearly worked out for them at that timing. But even then, I think they probably thought there'll be another one. Like the way this race is going, there'll be someone else who stops and retires. Both Aston Martins did come into the pits and kind of stop for a while before going back out. So yeah, I think you've got to be careful not to use hindsight too smartly with Ferrari here. I still think, because they had both cars there, they should have split the strategies.
Yes,
they had the chance under that first safety car, or virtual safety car, when Mercedes did it with both cars, to do it with one. So yeah, I feel like they could have split, but who knows? That might still have left them third and fourth. They've not lost a huge amount. So I'm just not going to be overly critical of them, but it still felt like a bit of a missed opportunity. And I think we all just wanted to see that race for the win to the end. Now, I've made my way down to the end of the paddock to the story of the season for us, half the time, I guess. We talked about it a lot pre-show. We're going to talk about it a lot post-show, I imagine, with Cadillac. And a lot of the team's still hanging around. I want to get their reaction to how that went. Mario's got a lovely glass of wine on the go. I'm so jealous. Imagine if you were Mario Andretti.
Oh, that's a picture.
So suave, just walking around, lovely glass of white, just in the sun in Melbourne. That is goals. That is where I want to end my life. Fantastic.
Yeah, you've got to get the World Championship first, though.
Yeah,
I'm lacking that. I
There's
don't have
that.
a world title. This guy does have one. Actually, I don't know if he's up for talking since he's having a glass of wine. If he is, I'll ask him. But I don't think he's going to go and relax in the sun.
Tell him who you're talking to. Tell him you're talking to Speed City, man.
Well, there's that, but there's obviously a lot of people know him who've come to see him, and I don't know how many of those glasses he's had. So maybe it's unfair.
That's a good point.
That's a very good point. Yeah.
Yeah, if it was me, I'd have started halfway through the race. I'd be like, "This will do, job done." So
no, if you get Mario Andretti after 6 glasses of wine, we're definitely going to blow up on YouTube.
And that could be a world exclusive, yeah.
Yeah.
I thought you were going to say we're going to get an award. What's the radio version in North America of like a BAFTA or something? In the UK, it'll be a BAFTA.
I don't know. Casey's going to have to jump in to tell us. Well, what he's got nothing. He said.
Yeah.
Hey,
somebody in America listens to radio.
We're going to create awards for ourselves because, if no one else is doing it, we'll have them.
Yeah, exactly.
And that way, if we do that now, that will help my filling as I wait for Graham to become free. He's just chatting to Valtteri Bottas's manager, Didier Coton, at the moment. They're just
Chris,
having a chinwag.
Are there lots of smiles in the Cadillac area there? It's got to be.
Oh yeah, 100%. Yeah, I think that there's a real sense of satisfaction.
Yeah,
is how I put it, and so rightly so. There should be. I mean, it's tough just being here, let alone finishing a race with a car and getting data with the other car, which had an issue, but I don't actually know what that issue was, and it could have been not a team one. It could be a power unit. Ferrari supplied one. So yeah, I think they should be very proud of the work they've done. I can tell you, Graham's smiling right now. We've got Tyler Epp, who used to work at the Miami Grand Prix, who's now part of the team here. He's with the Tauruses, just enjoying. Well, the Tauruses are enjoying a glass of bubbly as well, but Graham's not. Graham's still on the clock. Here he comes. I've got the team principal nearly coming. Sorry, he's been interrupted by another handshake. This is painting the picture, isn't it? This is how popular and important they are down here. Everyone wants to come and say well done, which must be a lovely feeling actually. But at the same time, these are hard races, so they won't be satisfied just to call that a day. Graham, I was just saying, you don't have a glass of something cold in your hand. Mario does, Dan does, Cassidy does. All right, Tyler's water, I think. But
yeah. Well, I've been, I've obviously got out of the game, and so I need to speed up a bit. But and I should do it. The team have done a fantastic effort. This game's not easy. It is the hardest team game in the world. It's the greatest team sport in the world. It's so difficult, and you could see, some people didn't even get to the start. That's how difficult this game is. So it would have been great to get 2 cars home on our first ever Grand Prix for Cadillac Formula One team, just purely and simply because we're greedy and we want, we always want more. But getting one home meant that we've now got a platform to build on, and we get to go again next week, which I think is great because people are, we're really getting into the stride now.
Well, I was going to say on that front, you can't just do it all in one go because you need to do it step by step. You need to have the next time you race to have the 2 cars finished, but that's a sprint as well, so that'll be fun for you guys. Let's just bask in the initial bit of glory as such. That to get here, to get this car, this team. I've mentioned it before on air about how professional it looks, how it looks like the team's been here for years. But then the way you've operated as well out there, like you say, having both cars starting the race ahead of a number of others that have been struggling. Did this kind of live up to your, I don't know if expectations is the right word, targets, what you were hoping for out of this weekend?
To some extent, it's been such a long project, and this day has been coming for such a long time, that the more I thought about it, the more I kind of realized I didn't really know what to expect. Such a big regulation change as well. And also, we said this a lot, we've got huge respect for the competition in this paddock. It's a seriously difficult game. We're up against the very best in the world. And so it's not something that is easy to just walk into. And, we said a number of times before, if you go and beat another team that's been doing it for a long time, then can you imagine how they would feel? So, look, we know we've still got a lot of work to do, but the most exciting thing for me is I know that I'm in a team of people who are more than capable of doing this. All we need now is some time, and I'm absolutely convinced that this is a team that's going to move forward.
Yeah, you're 16th place for Checo today means that you're ahead of Aston Martin in the Constructors' Championship. So you are not bottom of the Constructors after one round. Now, admittedly, that Aston looks like it has actually some really good pace in it when they can make the thing run. But I guess, is that your benchmark now, is to go, okay, where's the next car that we're going to get to? Because the gaps aren't huge, are they? We've seen in the past new teams be 5-6 seconds off the pace.
Yeah, so obviously we need to work on reliability. That's obvious, but we're not alone with that. And then we need to work on pace, because you're quite right what you said. In race pace, we're not that far off racing a whole bunch of other teams, and so clearly that's the next kind of target. Once we can get the reliability nailed down, I'm absolutely convinced that we will of that. Is start racing people and on pace. And it's within touch and distance, and I think in reality that's more than we could ever expect when you consider, this is a car that's been designed entirely effectively on computers that haven't been calibrated against the racetrack, wind tunnel that's never been calibrated against the car. It's against the rules for us to run a car last year of our own. So. All in all, I think when we analyze it from that point of view, we're kind of way ahead where we really should be.
Exciting starting point. We're looking forward to seeing how the journey goes. Well done this weekend, and we'll see you next weekend.
Thanks very much, and we're super happy to be going again next weekend.
Thank you, Greg.
If anybody is listening and they have not been a longtime fan of Formula One, before we had Graham come on just then, we were gushing about how well they had done just by getting a car to finish. And they're thinking, wow, just by finishing there. And I think Graham kind of helped drive that point home, how hard this is.
Oh, that's ridiculous. Yeah.
And that they have surpassed expectation
at
this point, getting one car to finish and being as competitively being as competitive they were lap times.
Yeah.
So
well, we just had the Winter Olympics. Imagine trying to do the toboggan, with
1 year training.
With everybody else doing 4 years practice leading up to the Olympics, and you just get to show up. Lastminute.com and race.
I have to admit, just looking at the constructor standings and seeing Cadillac's name on there,
it's so cool.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
It's kind of goosebumpy even.
Yeah.
Just to see their name on there. I know we've had Haas, but it is different. It is different.
I couldn't agree
to
more.
have an auto manufacturer, right? So.
Well, you know what, as well, this could boost Haas, I would say. The point I made in that Eric Matsu interview was you guys have you committed
for
an American owner, and you want it to be the American team. But Cadillac will absolutely lift that level. But hopefully that lifts the interest too even further, and maybe there can be more investment from the States in Haas and more backing for them. And I mean, heck, if we have an American team rivalry, we've already got Ford trying to stoke that as well with their backing of Red Bull and the powertrains there. All of that coming together. What a time for American F1 fans to have so much investment and involvement and influence in this sport.
And segue to, we've got Colton on the run. He's coming.
Colton Herta. Yeah.
And Jack Crawford.
Yeah. Jack's waiting.
And Ugochukwu.
Yeah. Ugochukwu.
Yep.
Did I say that right?
Yes, you did.
It's very similar to the name of that town in Scotland, right?
No, it's not. It's not in Scotland either.
No, it's really not.
It's Wales.
It's in Wales. Okay. Yeah. Okay. On that note, we better take a break so we can compose ourselves, and we'll be back right after these messages. Okay, Jonathan, say it for the YouTubers. What's the name of the town?
Llanfair Polgwynedd, Golgeleth, Llantysilio Gogogoth.
Bless you.
Thank you.
I thought he'd had a stroke while ago.
They actually have it written out on the train station, and it's about 18 feet long.
And if you're listening, that is the actual pronunciation of the town in Wales.
Yes.
Can you spell it?
No. Yes, IT.
You cheated.
Hey, dad joke.
Yeah, the groan from the other side of the world.
Yeah, that was a big groan. I got that.
All right, I'm checking in on YouTube. Tim has made it. He says, I am here. Didn't get to see the race. Have to watch the replay.
I'm from Thailand.
Yeah, definitely watch it.
Yeah, definitely watch it, Tim. You need to watch it. It was none of the gloom and doom and disaster that everyone was talking about. Everyone. I say all the people on the internets. Let's see. Anybody else? Well, Dayoster3 says, today was a good racing day. Great Indy race. Herta got his first F2 points and a great F1 race. Absolutely. And I was so ingrained in F1 and Speed City stuff today. I didn't even look. I saw that Newgarden, did he cheat to win today, Jonathan? Or did he just...
ouch.
Okay, sorry. He won today?
Yeah.
Okay, sorry. Did I say that out loud?
Yeah. Okay. To all the new YouTubers. How could you have a go at that fresh-faced Nashville cherub?
It's the push to pass. Okay. Let's see. What else? Anybody else? Andy P. That's too many letters. You should look it up, Andy. It is crazy. Wait, I have it open. No, I don't have it open on Wikipedia anymore, but it is the craziest name of any city on the planet. We have tons to get to. We haven't gotten to it yet, guys. All right, here we go. Coming back.
Hi, this is Jay Leno from JayLenosGarage.com, and you're listening to Speed City.
Welcome back to Speed City, America's voice of Formula One.
All right, we're basking in the glow of a mega jeweled finished, mega jeweled completed, fantastic F1 race today. I'm going to go that far with it. At least the first half was anyway.
I'm still basking in the glory of the one man who can say speed better than anybody else.
Yeah, Jay Leno. All right. Hey, I want to ask Chris Medland a question. What happened to Lawson? Did he not get his turbo spinned up? Have you heard anything? Do you have any speculation even?
Oh, I do not actually. I would have suggested it's probably that. Yeah, that the turbo wasn't up to speed, and you're trying to launch with hardly any power at all. He got a really slow one. Colapinto so nearly ran into the back of him, didn't he? Off the line.
Yeah,
it was,
and so
close.
did Checo.
But yeah, both did well to avoid. But I don't actually have the answer. Although I did just come down to Mercedes because I felt like I hadn't actually given them much love. I've got to remember that was George Russell's 6th win of his career. It's not like they've been prolific since he's joined that team. So I wanted to go down and see what's going on there. But apart from wearing the P1 T-shirts, there's no one to speak to in terms of a spokesperson. So I will make my way down to VCarb.
All right. While you're walking, I got another one for you. Did you hear the Piastri interview? He talked about, he gave 3 reasons. He said, 1, cold tires; 2, optimistic. In other words, he took the blame because he was saying he was being too aggressive. And number 3, he had 100 kilowatt power spike, or 100 kilowatt more power than expected, is what he said. And that's 135 horsepower. That's about 15. That's almost 15% of the entire power unit combined power.
But what would cause that?
Well, software programming. Okay. A pedal. A switch calibration. Who knows? Software probably is what I would guess.
Interesting.
That's what he suggested, that it was automated. That it came out of nowhere.
Yeah.
When the MGU kicks in, it can take its maximum power level by rule is 350 kilowatts.
Yeah.
Yep.
If you do it while you're super clipping, in other words, you keep your foot down and you bring in power harvesting to keep the turbos spooled up, you cannot go to 350 on the MGU. You can only go to 250, and I'm wondering if that somehow got him in trouble.
I don't think that was it because he wasn't at full throttle at that point. But I mean, I just think it was a software or something. And by the way, Bob, what you just explained, I think I've got a good way to explain that. If anybody has ever driven an electric car that has a paddle for regen, which is, some cars do regen where you just have one pedal driving, where when you let off of the gas, it starts the regen. In other words, it feels like you got the brakes on, so you can drive you can go all the way.
It feels like engine braking.
That's right, and it really it actually feels like you're putting on the brakes so much.
Yeah.
But yes, but some cars have a little paddle, right, where you can pull that paddle and do regen, like you let off the gas, and it doesn't do regen, and then you pull the paddle. Well, super clipping and what they describe now is kind of like keeping your foot on the gas, like full bore, and pulling the regen pedal at the same time.
Exactly. Yeah.
So that way you're recharging the battery, but you're doing it with your engine because you're keeping the momentum of the car going with your motor, I should say, or your engine, excuse me, your internal combustion engine.
And it does naturally slow you down.
Yeah.
Because you're at the limit.
Yep. So I thought about that, but Chris, I had another couple of other ones here.
Oh no.
On the
spot.
What? On the spot, yeah.
Live from Melbourne, here he comes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I heard
$64,000
Priestley.
question.
I just heard Mark Priestley say something. I thought it was. I'm not going to put you on the spot about it. It was talking about how smaller.
You can do it.
Smaller wheels, smaller tires means faster pit stops because the tires are easier to handle. Agree or disagree?
Disagree. They would normally, but I believe you've got other aspects that you have to take into account. The barge board, I think, means about the positioning of where you can take the tire on and off that you've got just behind the front wheels. The big ones, the one that fell off Checo's car. But also, as you just talked about, actually, with the way that the power unit's been working, heard George Russell say that they're trickier now to execute cleanly. And I think it is like with, you're braking, but the engine's still going to be generating then too. And getting to hit your mark spot on consistently has been tricky for drivers. So that's actually built in a little bit of a longer time. So probably eventually, yes, when it really cleans up. But apparently, at the moment, not quite as quick. Although I didn't see times. So anyone who was watching the clock on the broadcast can tell me if they did get close or match them still.
They were there. I mean, they were sort of. 2.3, 2 point. That it was sort of averaging close to what they were doing last year. But I mean, talking of tires, I picked up on this from Fred's interview you did, talking about understanding the longevity of the mediums and the hards, which we saw in action today, both being used. And the surprise, perhaps, that you get a little bit more, perhaps, with these narrow tires. I know that's not something you can answer, but is that something that surprised you today? Just how we heard the driver say, "Hey, leave me out. I'm okay on these tires."
A little. I mean, it's one of those things that maybe I should have done some more digging on, but there's so much that's new. Yeah. It's not always easy to know exactly what you need to go chasing. But if you think about how much less likely it is that drivers are leaning on the tyres like they used to because of the speeds they're taking through certain corners. Yes, you've got a lot more power in your rear wheels, but turns 8 and 9, high-speed chicane, still impressive, but you heard it from George Russell's onboard for his quali lap. You've dropped 50 kph before you get there because of clipping. You're going through there well under the limit of the car and its potential. It's the same with the tyres. So you're basically saving them at that time. Yeah. Well, 12 months ago, going to the race with much faster cars, heavier cars, more downforce, longer, speeding, going much more quickly through the corner. They were still looking at maybe one stopping this race. The options were given were 1 or 2 stops. Pretty much exactly the same preview from Pirelli for strategy today in terms of 1 or 2 stops. So that actually should have said, okay, these cars are easier to look after the tyres or not working them quite as hard. But we just hadn't seen that picture play out because there's so many other moving parts that teams are trying to get on top of in practice. And I think that's where it maybe got overlooked. And we were a bit, kind of off the ball slightly, or I certainly was, because we didn't get the normal running that you get on a Friday to understand how the tyre life's going to be and to know what was going to be possible or not. Ultimately, then maybe we should have seen it coming from earlier. But you could say that's what Ferrari did. You could say Ferrari went for the one stop very early, went, this will be easily possible. We're going for it. And they were just trying to get the optimum timing to make that stop. And because they didn't get to do it under VSC, it didn't work out. And potentially, it sounded like Mercedes thought they were going to 2-stop when they made their first pit stop and then kind of got into the race and discovered that, no, we can 1-stop it. So, yeah, I think that's just, that is a learning that I was told had become a bit secondary to power deployment during practice, and as we get into the season, it'll become normal in the sense of what we're used to with the focus that teams have.
It's very interesting, and I mean, I just wonder now how much also throw in the sprint, as it were, next week. How even less time and less preparation they're going to have, given that they're going to be racing after one practice.
Yeah, that's going to be so tough for them. Really, really tough. But that's, I'd say, good for us, because even if China turns out to be a place where it's easier to regenerate the energy, and I'm told it is, I was speaking to someone from Haas earlier who was saying that you can really recover all of it in under braking for the hairpin at the end of the long straight, for example. And then there's another straight that you get a big break, I think it's into turn 5, right-hand hairpin. And those really give you good points on the lap to regenerate energy. So we might not get quite as chaotic cat and mouse at the start of the race, potentially, not sure. But you'll have unknowns from setup and from not knowing how to deploy properly and not knowing how the tyres will work because you've only had the one session. So, yeah, it's going to be a huge, huge challenge for them to get on top of. And I actually have an answer. I'm not dodging this one for John's question about Liam Lawson. It was a lack of power off the line. They said they just didn't have power deployment, as in both internal combustion and electrical.
Wow.
And the team, it hadn't happened yet, and the team looking into it. So that does sound software setting glitch-y.
Yes, it does. Yeah.
You know what? I don't know about you guys, but I feel way more knowledgeable. I don't feel anywhere near close to where I need to be, but I feel way more knowledgeable about all of this because I've been studying about all of the different systems.
We needed a race,
but we need that's right. We needed it just like the drivers and teams needed it. But hey, Chris, I know you caught up with Jonathan Wheatley a few minutes ago.
I did.
Why don't we get our last break in real quick, and then you can give us an intro on that. You're listening to Speed City F1, back after these messages. All right, sorry, Chris. I was about to throw to that interview, but then Casey reminded me in my ear that we needed one more break.
That's fine, because I walked into a zone where I nearly lost signal, and I wasn't sure what you'd asked of me, and I heard the music kick in, so it saved me.
Kevin Kelly has brought up something. There's so much we haven't talked about, guys, but
and he's right. Max. Yeah. I mean, what a race he put on.
Yeah, he went from 20th to where did he finish?
Sixth.
Yeah.
Six.
Yeah, he had a deployment issue late on that stopped him getting Lando.
Oh, is that what it was?
Yeah, I think the word he used over team radio was it shat itself again.
I loved Max's sarcastic comment after he crashed when he talked about, the car just went sideways about him saying, he goes, "Oh, it was fantastic," or something like that. Fantastic.
Yes, so the radio's just locked. Around I went, fantastic.
Man, and Julian Palmer's assessment of that was perfect. He said I think it was Julian, he said even Max's cat-like reflexes couldn't have caught that.
Yeah, you couldn't.
But you did see Max react.
Yeah.
But it was too late. But I was like, the rest of us would have just been, wouldn't have even moved, spun around.
Forgot to let go of the wheel, though.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
I think he didn't think he was going to hit the wall because it was slowing fairly quickly.
He's not used to crashing.
Well, his left hand came off the wheel,
yeah,
and it kind of flung it across and hit the other side of the cockpit. It was an odd one in that sense. You are right that he should have had them off, but it was odd that he was still. I think he was just lazy, to be honest. I think he just didn't know didn't think about putting them somewhere. But I will run to Red Bull coming out the break. I don't know if I'll get anyone there, but I'll get down there just to see.
All right. Do you want to do? We got Wheatley. That I feel fair enough that we could play because it's been an hour since the BBC did.
Yeah, that's fine. And I'll change direction if I'm getting someone live at Red Bull, but I doubt it.
All right.
I'm Liam Lawson, and you're listening to Speed City.
Welcome back to Speed City, America's voice of Formula One.
Man, Liam Lawson had an aggressive race today, didn't he, Greeny?
Certainly did, and it all could have gone horribly wrong right at the start. We were just talking about it, weren't we? He bogged off the line, and according to Chris, he had no power. Never mind combustion, never mind
or super low power, right?
Yeah, I mean, he basically bogged off the line, and that is a fear in this new generation, in that when things go wrong, things slow down quickly, and people have to take avoiding action.
Yeah, and he had a run-in with Checo. In fact, Checo did. I love this. He said something like, he laughed and he said, "Ha, what's wrong with this guy?" He wasn't even like screaming. He was just like, "This guy's crazy," or something.
Well, because they have history.
Yeah,
if you think about it, the last time Checo was actually racing a car, they were racing for that drive.
Yes, they were racing for the same seat.
Yeah.
Hey, Chris, did I already ask you about the barge board? Yeah, that's right. We talked about the barge board, the Checos.
I mentioned it, but I think I think it was just a.
But do you think it was because of contact with Lawson?
It could have been because it was on that left-hand side, which would have been the first one at turn 3. But I'm not certain if contact happened there. It could be just this is the first time they'll have stress tested it in a race scenario where you're attacking curbs so much, and this is the first time they've raced here and done a run that long in one go. So it could also just be a slight weakness there that they've got to resolve. That would not be unusual for a new team at all. But yeah, either or. But yeah, it was funny, wasn't it, that they kind of got each other back. It was Checo showed Liam the gravel at turn 3, and then Liam showed Checo to the gravel as well when he overtook him in turn 11 when they had that little touch. So clearly they have long memories, those two.
Hey, Chris, why don't you set up this 2-minute interview you did with Audi boss?
Yeah, Jonathan Wheatley, who I bothered a lot last year when the team was stake Sauber.
Yeah.
And look, I think it's been really impressive, the job that team's done, despite the fact it's not a complete new team. But it has been very good. And I think the pace has been excellent. But you don't know with a team with that sort of backing, that bigger manufacturer, what the expectations are and how they're going to feel. And when I spoke to him, it was clear that they were very, very happy with their day's work. Jonathan Wheatley, Audi Revolut team principal, given the full name. Points on debut for the team. Now, I know as a Formula One team it existed, but to build a power unit, to integrate it as a whole new team, to hit the ground running the way you've done, how proud are you of that result for Gabriel Bortoleto today?
I mean, I have to say that we've been talking, you and I, about this as a project, as a future Formula One team, and I'm stood here today as an actual Formula One team. Not just that, got into the final period of qualifying in our first ever qualifying session, scored points in our first race. I can't tell you how much work has gone over the last 12 months and even before that. The incredibly talented group of people that we have in Neuburg, in Bicester and in Hinville have pulled this together today. Gabby's drive, I want to apologise to Nico for his car being unable to start her first Grand Prix, but look, I stand here tonight with a team full of euphoria and a very, very proud team principal.
I mean, the team looks great. The car looks great, and it's a bit unique with your side pod approach. You've gone your own way with some innovation as well, but the car's also competitive, like truly competitive. I mean, do you look at this season as one where there could be some big points on offer, that this is a really good foundation for this team?
No, I think foundation's the right word. We take it one step at a time, and we'll concentrate on our own performance. I mean, you have to look at what Mattia, James, the creativity in this car, the work that's gone on in the chassis, the reliability of the powertrain to be able to test things over the winter, It's a good sign of things to come, but we're keeping our feet firmly on the ground.
Well, talk about reliability and testing things. I was still on holiday and you were running a Formula 1 car for the first time, so fair play to you for that. But just finally, bigger picture, first time we've seen these cars race. What did you make of the racing action we got, and what did you make of, I guess, the weekend as a whole?
Well, I think, first of all, as a sport, I think we saw some incredible racing over the first 10 laps. We saw an energy management race, and those of you who are eagle-eyed would see that was happening between Lindblad and Gabby the last few laps. It's going to be tactical. There's going to be a psychological element to it. The reliability will get solved over the course of time, and we'll have more cars finishing, and I think it's a good indicator of this set of regulations.
What do you make of the qualifying yesterday, just finally? Is that something that maybe could be improved as a spectacle? Because you're right, the race was spectacular at the start.
Well, I think, again, we're at the very early stages of this set of regulations. As the cars become, let's say, more sophisticated, as they get better developed over time, all of that will come to us again. It will get closer and closer.
Only a few days to find out next time as well in China. Well done, and see you there.
Thank you very much, and thanks to all of our fans.
Nice job, Chris. All right, I'm going to address the people who are screaming at their radios right now saying we haven't talked about Max Verstappen because he did have an amazing game from 20th to 6th.
And drove the wheels off it.
We didn't get to see much, really.
We saw him pushing Norris a lot at the end there.
Yes.
Definitely. And I think that you could argue that Red Bull and McLaren are pretty much on an even footing at this stage. But as Jonathan just pointed out, it's going to change dramatically as they get to know and understand these rules. And as these brilliant people do, they move forward and get better and better each and every week.
They figure it out. That is going to be so much fun to watch these teams evolve, because they're going to do it at a pace just crazy. And everybody, the bar's just going to keep moving up.
Yep.
And that's what's so scary for Adrian Newey and the rest of the people at Aston Martin right now.
Yeah.
They got a long way to go.
I do think, though, and I'm trying to tie it up in a positive bow for Aston Martin, because it has been absolutely awful. But everything else, if they sort these gremlins out, they have a good car.
Yeah, well, we shall see. We shall see.
They have a pioneering car.
Yeah.
Yeah, they got some definite.
Done some radical things with this car.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was. Yeah, unique bits on that car. Wow. Well, we are just about out of time. And I was going to say, Chris, there's one more question for you. Here in the United States, we have daylight savings time coming up in exactly 1 hour and 1 minute. Oh, in 1 minute. In the East Coast, it's actually
an hour's sleep.
Oh, 1 minute.
Yeah, so
I'm going to disappear.
Chris, at this point, there is no 2 a.m. in the United States. Something happens. It's like Inception. We go from 1:59:59 to 3 a.m. So we don't know what happens.
That's such a shame, because at 2 a.m. I was sitting down with Max Verstappen for an exclusive interview. Oh,
oh no.
We have no 2 a.m.
Yeah.
Oh, well.
All right.
You guys just don't want to get through, don't I?
We need to go to bed.
Bad man.
Chris, thanks, buddy. Fantastic job.
Great job.
Bob Varsha, thank you very much.
Cheers.
Thanks, Bob.
Casey behind the glass, brilliant job. Thank you. Jonathan.
Happy trails.
We'll see you tomorrow. Bye, guys. Talk to you next week.